Blue Lock chapter 352 is here. Let's get into this chapter. So the chapter's name is The Clown, and we see Bharatsuda screaming and saying, "If we lose, it's the end. Do you understand? We got side B running in the background here too. We have also spent a ton of budget on this. If we lose the next one too and don't make it to the final tournament phase, it all down into the sky. Hey, hey, hey." And Ego says, "Shut up, old G sir. I am telling you, this is completely within expectations." And Buratsura says, "Huh?" And Ego continues, "After finishing 2 matches against Nigeria and the champion France, we have 1 win and 1 loss. I am saying that if you look at the Japan's actual strength relatively, this is well within the range of natural result." Buratsura says, "Ego, you bastard. We have to win. There is no flaw in the pain. Don't forget that you'll be permanently banned from the Japanese football, you brat." And Ego says, "I am a person hired for the sole purpose of making the Japan win the World Cup. I didn't sign a contract to work for making money." And Bharatsuda says, "According to the contract, Sai Itoshi won't join us either unless we make it past the group stage." And Bharatsuda says, "And I won't let you use any of the survivors for side B until the knockout tournament. Got it?" Ego then pulls up his tie and says, "Shut up, you money grumbling Tanuki. This is the gamble I started. It's my plan. I just have to win, don't I?" And Bharatsuda says, "Keep running your mouth, you insane four eyes. This isn't the only your gamble, you know." Then we cut to the side B players where we see Kira and Shindo. And Shindo says, "Well, for now, I guess we wait here for the other cleared guys." And Kira says, "Thank you, Shindo, for choosing me." And Shindo says, "It's nothing emotional. Raising the probability is the best choice for winning." And Kira says, "Your confidence is scary high." While Shindo was drinking the water, Nagi and Shigeo enters the room. And Shigeo says, I cleared it. I'm gonna become a member of Japan's national team." And Nagi says, "Okay, Shigeo. Before that, do you have any bandages or something?" And Kira says, "Here, take care of yourself," and gives him the bandages. Shindo says, "I knew you'd come, Seishiro Nagi. You're not that kind of talent who would end up in a place like this. My read that you're a dangerous person wasn't wrong at all." And Nagi says, "Yeah, thanks. And shut up, Mr. Verbalizer. That's the way you talk, like you understand everything." And Shindo laughs and says, Sorry. But that bandage, it suits you. Maybe you're actually better when you're a little more rough and humble." And Shigeo says, "His verbalization is amazing, but he's annoying." And an announcement says the 6 players advancing from the team 1 now have been decided. And we see Nishioka and Ringo. And Nishioka says, "We made it." And Ringo says, "We are still alive." And the text says, Hararu Shindo, Kira Ryosuke, Shigeo Mizuki, Nagi Seishiro, Hajime Nishioka, Ringo Motosumi. You 6 shall proceed to the next event. Please enter. The real game begins now." And Shindo says, "I will crush them." And Kira says, "I will win this." And Nagi says, "My ego wants some more." Then we cut to the Blue Lock players who is currently practicing for the next match against England. And we see Bajra saying, "I need some too." And Aiku says, "It's time to take a short break." And Otoya says, "Do you need water?" And Aryu says, "I am needing to recharge my glamorous batteries." And Karas says, "Honestly, after hearing what Ego said, what do you guys think?" And Bachira said, "Well, it felt pretty ego-like to me." And Nico says, "Yeah, it made me remember that this guy's actually insane." Chigiri says, "I get it. When you really think about it, a team where every single person is aiming to become the world's best striker makes no sense. But it did let me recognize again that we are trying to do something insane. And Karasu says, exactly. If you think about it normally, this team have been contradictory from the start. And yet, miraculously, we have gotten this strong and managed to keep winning them to this point. And IQ says, but we couldn't beat the reigning champions, France. That's our reality. And precisely because of that now, it's time for us to look at ourselves again and what Blue Lock really is. And Hiyori says that might be good. If we put it that way, maybe we have trusted ego a little too much, haven't we? And Corona says, well, yeah, true. I respect him because he brought us this far, but originally he's seriously a crazy four-eyed psycho. That's crazy. And IQ says, rather than seeing him as an absolute correct coach, maybe the better distance seeing him as a dangerous guy who teaches us dangerous, interesting things. Maybe precisely because we lost and can stop for a moment now, this might be the time for us to return to our starting point and look at it again. What kind of world does my own ego dream of us within this blue lock? And in that moment, another player comes behind Corona and asks Blue Lock, in your next match, can you guys please lose? And we see Corona, Chigiri and Raichi is confused and like, what is this guy saying? And the player says, I apologize for the late introduction. I am your next opponent, a player from England. And Ananase says, for real? And Bajra says, what is this guy? And the player says, well, I'll take that as you agreeing to lose. And Ananase says, wait, no one said that. IQ then says, you're interesting bro, but that's an impossible request. And IQ says, and saying something like stupid like that, I don't know what your intentions are by coming here. And the player says, impossible? I see. Impossible, I see. That's a problem. What should I do? Fox told me to come here. What should I do at a time like this? The player then kicks the ball to Bajra's face and says, oh, I figured it out. I can just kill everybody. And Raichi's like, surprised. And Nana said too. And he says, if I make you learn that you can win, you'll give up and lose to us, won't you? And IQ says, how dare you say that to a precious monster? And he gets trampled. Then the player dribbles past Aryu and IQ says, what? And Aryu says, he's good and he's fast. And Nico says, he's a dribbler. And Bajra is like, what an egoist. Then Aigo comes and tries to pass the player and says, stop joking. But the player passes him. His name is Teddy Knight. And he says, I don't have such a thing as ego because I'm nothing but a doll. A trashy, shitty doll. That's where chapter 352 ends.